Good afternoon. My name is Eileen Sobjack. I'm the president of the National Federation of Republican Women. We are the largest grassroots Republican women's organization nationwide. We educate, train, and empower women politically. I want to thank you for joining us today. My guest today is Dusty Johnson of South Dakota, a congressman, and I want to give a shout out to the Republican women who asked me to be sure and say hello to you, Dusty.
South Dakota has some great Republican women.
Yes, they do.
Just a great federation.
Yeah, very strong and persistent.
Yeah.
Good.
Tenacious was the word I used when you and I were talking
yes.
off camera. Yeah.
Yes. So Congressman Johnson brings an energetic and optimistic style to Washington as South Dakota's lone voice in the U.S. House of Representatives. He's recognized as a leader in issues related to rural America, agriculture, and welfare reform. And he was appointed to the Select Committee on China. He addresses the 360-degree threat posed by China, especially their ownership of American ag land and ag businesses and control over tech. He lives in Mitchell with his wife and 3 sons. He is the primary sponsor of the Keep 9 Amendment, which would limit court packing and cap the Supreme Court justices to 9, as it is now. Congressman, I want to thank you for joining me today.
Well, thanks for having me.
Why have you chosen to lead on the Keep 9 Amendment?
Well, one thing we know about the politicians in D.C. is that we will weaponize just about anything. And we're seeing that with the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court has made some decisions that have been consistent with the Constitution, consistent with law, but it's upset the liberals. And so Jerry Nadler, who was the Democratic chair of the Judiciary Committee, introduced a bill, along with others, AOC and others, that would instantly put 4 more Supreme Court justices on the Supreme Court. You can imagine how terrifying that would be. Now, there's no study anywhere that says that the court would operate better with 13 justices with 9. So this is not about making the court better. This is just a power grab. They want to change the makeup of the court. It's terrible. And so what my constitutional amendment would do is make it real clear that the Supreme Court will have 9 justices in the future, just like it's had for the last 150 years. I know sometimes we worry about these bills that are 1,000 pages long. My bill is 1 sentence long. The constitutional amendment would be 1 sentence long. The number of justices on the Supreme Court shall be 9, period. I hope we can get it done.
That sounds excellent. So I guess you kind of explain why now and what makes it so important to America today.
Yeah, and it's because we do have this threat. You know, anytime you've got, as we do now, a president of one party and the Senate of the same party, they could, particularly, you gave them 4 more justices, the president could nominate them, and the Senate could push it through with only 51 votes.
Right.
And so that is why there are some who want to pack the court now. Now, thank goodness, we've got the House in Republican hands, which means that they wouldn't be able to pass Jerry Nadler's bill to add 4 more justices. We're the firewall in the Republican House. But we know that Republicans won't be able to hold the House forever. Now is the time for us to submit this constitutional amendment to the states so the states can ratify it and so that we can have this in the Constitution forever.
Right. Okay. So has the House Judiciary Committee Chairman Jim Jordan's efforts to get documents of President Biden's Supreme Court Commission given momentum to this amendment?
Well, I'll tell you, yes. I also think that when Joe Biden's own Supreme Court Commission last year came out and did not recommending packing the court. They knew that packing the court was not going to make the court any stronger at all, and it's not unusual that was their finding. You've had, it's not just conservatives. I mean, clearly conservatives don't like the liberal power grab, but even liberal justices, some as liberal as Ruth Bader Ginsburg before her death, or Stephen Breyer, they have said packing the court is the wrong idea. It would undermine confidence in the judiciary. So this is really something where people of good faith on both sides of the aisle understand how important my constitutional amendment is.
Okay, all right. So the Democrats say they oppose court packing, but they refuse to do anything that would stop it. Our members want to know, our 65,000 members nationwide are ready to go to work. What can they do to help?
I think one thing that there are more than 100 Republican co-sponsors of my bill in the House. Now that is powerful, that's a lot. But there are 222 Republican members of the House. And so we've still got a ways to go there where we can continue to build additional momentum. So for your members who live in districts with Republican House members, call your Republican House members or send them a message and just say, please support Dusty Johnson's constitutional amendment to keep the 9. Keep 9 justices on the Supreme Court. For those of them that live in districts with Democratic House members, also make that request. Because I've had some Democrats behind the scenes who told me, listen, I know we should not be packing the court. Jerry Nadler's wrong about that. The progressive left is wrong about that. If we can get just a handful of Democrats to stand with us, this thing is going to gain a lot of momentum.
Okay, all right, well that's pretty easy. So one line and phone calls.
Yes.
And there you go.
And those things really do matter.
Okay.
You know, when members of the House understand that the grassroots want them to look into something, they do evaluate these issues.
They keep tabs on that, right? I mean, when we're making phone calls and we are letting them know where we stand.
Yeah, absolutely.
Good. All right. So anything else you want to add about this Keep 9?
I think this is a great opportunity for us to bring people of, there's nothing conservative or liberal about having 9 justices on the Supreme Court. It's just the right thing to do. People who care about this court, again, whether they were conservative or liberal, looked at that and said, yeah, we function best when we have 9. Now, I suspect many of your members have been part of a committee, and I think we all know that as the committee size gets too big, the effectiveness of the committee goes down. A committee with 17 or 27 members does not function as well as a small tiger team that can get around a table and talk. And that's what the justices say. They say with 9 of us, we can all sit around a table, we can talk about a decision, and we can try to figure out how to write that decision in a way that can get 6, 7, 8, or 9 votes rather than these very controversial 5-4 decisions. And so this is the right thing to do, and it's the right time to do it.
Yeah, I agree. It's the right time, and it just makes good sense, practical sense. 9 around the table instead of packing it with a whole house full.
Well, and again, this town is good at escalation, unfortunately. So the Democrats add 4 more. So then Republicans, we get the presidency and the Senate. We say, well, that's not fair that they added 4 more. We'll add 2, 3, 4, 5 more. Or maybe we'll kick some people off the court. And so you have this ridiculous situation where after every election, the size of the Supreme Court could ping pong up or ping pong down on the basis of the election results. That is madness. It's not how we should be running this country. We need to keep the 9.
Yes, we do need to keep the 9. And like you said, over 100 years.
Yeah.
And it's worked. So, well, I want to thank you for taking the lead on this. I appreciate it, and I want you to know that our Republican women will be out there, and they will be talking this up and making those phone calls.
A powerful force for good right there.
They are, yes. So you can find more information about this issue on our website at nfrw.org, and this podcast will be on our YouTube page at NFRW1. Be sure and share it with your friends and your family. Let's spread the word to friends and family about this important amendment. Thank you. Thank you for being with us today. Appreciate it.